Welcome back to Dubbzi Bricks for another episode of building Gotham City in Lego. In the last update, I was working on the docks area here, getting the roads all down and the train supports all back in place. I do still need to connect the track up just there. However, I'm not going to be doing that for a few weeks. As I mentioned in the last update, Arkham is going to a Lego convention in July, and it just means I'm going to have to disconnect everything and then reconnect again afterwards. So we'll just leave that for the time being. There were some great comments, as always, in the video last week, with ideas of things to put in these two gaps here, but also with the security guard office or room, whatever you want to call it, for the entrance to the docks. People were suggesting putting it at the bottom, which I think is a really good idea. I want to keep the harbour sign just there under the bridge, as it gives it a real moody look. But what I think I will do is I'll actually integrate the sign there into the security entrance and their offices. I think that's going to be the best look for that part, because that is just resting on top of the Mills plate there. It'll be very easy for me to take that away, build it, put it back on, job done. But what I want to turn my attention to in this update is this section just over the back here at the bottom of the bridge. Now, as you can see, it is a complete mess at the moment. We've got the wreckage of the GCPD, which I need to sort all the parts out and then start rebuilding it. We've got part of a train here which needs to be rebuilt and put into the train station. But what I want to do is, first of all, get the road, or what I want to do the whole episode, should I say, is get this entire road connected. So at the moment it finishes just here. It's going to come all the way along. We need to have an entrance to a car park in here for the GCPD. And then the road needs to go down the slip road at the bottom. I want to cover up these holes here, so we need to make some Mills plate up for that, ready for the train station. It needs to be removable in case I need to get access to the trains just down the bottom there. But it would also be nice to get the bridge all repaired here. It's been moved a few times, and as you can see, there's been a fair bit of damage done to that. So yeah, plenty to get on with. I just want to get the foundations all finished throughout the entire city here, and then I can start concentrating on getting a lot more detail done to the build. We did a section over the far side there with the waterfront, getting the pavement tiled off, and it was just so satisfying. So it'd be nice to get a lot more of that done in this area of Gotham. Now, this section just here, where we're going to be having the slip road going down from the raised platform to the lower parts of Gotham, I want to put a back cave of some description in this area just here. And obviously it's not going to be a cave due to the location, but a bat den of some description, which, if I can, it would be nice to integrate it somehow into the bottom of the Wayne Tower just there. Not sure whether it's going to look right, so we'll just have to play by ear and see what we can come up with. Anyway, without further ado, let's clear all those loose bricks off, get it all tidied, and then we can start doing the repair work and amending those roads. it's so satisfying seeing more roads down in Gotham City, and all we've got left of the roads is this section just here. We need to do the corner and then going down the ramp to the lower part of Gotham City. We have still got to do road markings on here, like at the bottom here. I've no idea what they're supposed to look like, so I've just put the dotted lines along here. We've got a lay-by here, which is for taxis and cars to drop people off at the train station. Again, there's a lot more details I want to do on that section. And then here we have got the car park for the GCPD. Now with the GCPD, I'm not sure how I want it to look. The only way at the moment for pedestrians to get to the GCPD would be through the tunnel via the train station. However, it would be nice if there was a way that people from the lower part of Gotham could get to the GCPD via some steps or a lift or something like that. I could have put it up here. However, that means I've got to bring the road over. That's then going to be disrupting the train support there, which I don't want to move, and because that's right before a curve, which is a perfect place for it to be. So the other option would be to have some steps coming up here and then a bridge going across. And I think that would look really cool and quite in keeping with the looks of Gotham. So I think that's almost certainly what I'm going to do. Now, in regards to the GCPD, how big do I make it? If I leave everything as it is at the moment, I would probably I'd have a pavement coming out here, which would be probably only 4 studs wide going along here. And then the building would actually start around about here and it will go back to around about there. So it's a longer, thinner structure. It's bigger than what you had in the police station modular building a couple of years back. However, one other thing I was thinking about last night was how about having it on stilts? So the GCPD would be up about this high, and I'll be going for 1.5 of the 32 by 32 base plate, so 48 by 32 studs wide. It would overlap the car park at the front a little bit, which I think would add a little bit more character. And underneath the police station, we would have more parking bays, and we'd also have a section where the police would take prisoners into the actual police station itself via a lift. So that's just something I'm thinking about at the moment. It is something I want to make sure I get right first time. I don't want to have to keep rebuilding it. And I think the best thing for me to do is try and get the pavement area all sorted out on here, and also get the steps coming up going across as well. And then I'll have a better idea of how it's all looking visually. I think I could get away with just building it on here. However, the other good thing as well, if I do it on stilts, is we're getting a lot more height into the city, which again, I think would look quite good. And I think I could also make a GCPD that really stands out when you walk into the Lego room, like you see in several of the Batman games. Anyway, let's have a good think about that. In the meantime, let's start working on the ramp area just here. So I've just moved the 2 structures that were here, the Old Wayne Tower and the courthouse. And the plan was to have the ramp coming up there behind them. That's what I was intending on doing. However, I was just looking at it and I'm just wondering whether it would be better off having the ramp coming down here. It would be so much simpler. You'd have a nice straight road coming along the back of the table here. The only problem is it is going to limit the space that I've got for the back cave here. It's going to be a little bit smaller, or the back den, should I say. It's not going to actually be a cave. The other problem I've got is the area here wouldn't be big enough for the courthouse and the Old Wayne Tower. I would need a little bit extra space there, which I wouldn't be able to gain. So it would be a case of finding new locations for these structures. I could possibly move this one over to where the stock exchange is and move the stock exchange over here. So yeah, just a case now of working out how I go about doing so. And the other thing as well that I need to work out is where do I put the exit for the back cave as well, or the back den. So it's these little things I just need to try and get my head around before I start doing all the construction for the ramp here. So I'm just going to put the thinking cap on, try and work out what would go where in this area, and then once we've worked that out, I can then start putting everything in place. And we tried the road and it didn't work. It looked good coming down here, and that was absolutely fine. And had I not built all of the structures I've got here, I would have probably made it work. However, I was struggling for space. There was so little gap between these two. It didn't matter what buildings I put where. I just couldn't get it to work. And I wanted the Wayne Tower to be over here for a couple of reasons. So yeah, the ramp going up and down from the raised platform is just here. Now, what I'm going to be doing is having the back cave, whatever classing it as, just here. It's going to be attached to the old Wayne Tower, or touching the Wayne Tower, should I say. And what I'm going to be doing with the Wayne Tower from this point up is going to be exactly the same as before. However, what I would like to do is bring this section here so it's up at this height, and below it will be Lucius Fox's R&D department. So there'll be steps going up to the entrance of the old Wayne Tower. Now, one other thing that I think would work quite well is if on the side there, because at the moment I'm not sure how I'm going to make the bottom of this look, I'm considering having an entrance to a car park, so it'd be like an underground car park. I think that's going to be one of the best things to have there. There are no car parks around Gotham City, so we need somewhere for like the workers of Wayne Tower to be able to park their cars, for example. So that's just something that I am thinking about at the moment, but I'll worry about that in a future update. What we're going to turn our attention to now, though, is getting this permanently attached in place. We need to build a wall underneath on this side, put the proper supports in the back. Once I've done that, I can then start working out the carcass of the back cave area, so then I can put the road on the top. And there we have the stairs that lead up to the raised platform area. We've got the Joker walking down the steps there. So I just need to decide whether or not adding a car park underneath, or give the illusion there's a car park underneath the old Wayne Tower, is the right decision with some steps going up. I do think it could look quite good, but I want to make sure 100% before I start making any alterations to the base of this building. When we come around here, the ramp leading up to the raised platform is pretty much finished. We just got to do this corner section, which is going to be above the back cave. I can't finish the road here until I order in some 1x2 dark bluish grey bricks so I can bend the road. So I will order those when I place my next order. So I now need to work out what I'm going to work on next. And I'm thinking it's probably going to be the GCPD, or get the foundations of that sorted, and just need to decide whether or not to put it on stilts or not. I think it's the right decision. Giving it the extra height on here would certainly look good. It will stand out when you come into the Lego rooms, which would be good. But yeah, I just need to make my decision on that. I could quite easily make the GCPD in the style that I want it to, and then because it's going to be a freestanding building, if I don't like it on the base, then I could just raise it up. So that might be the best way forward. The only thing is, if I am putting on stilts, then I can make it come this way that little bit more. So yeah, just need to have a good think about it. I just love seeing everything tidy like this with the roads down. It's just so nice seeing less and less of the filler brick and fair play. Anyway, that's all we have time for. Hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham City in Lego, if you could share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Thanks for stopping by. Till next time, bye for now.